The year is 2015, and a woman who goes by the name Elizabeth Holmes was just named the youngest and wealthiest self-made female billionaire in the United States, with her company Theranos being valued at over $9 billion. Theranos promises that instead of drawing large amounts of blood from a vein using a needle, they have a device that conducts over 240 diagnostic tests using just a few drops of blood from a fingertip. The CEO of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, also claims that their technology would have accurate results available in hours instead of a few days, and that no one would have to go through the process of getting stung by painful needles to draw blood from veins anymore.
To eliminate the tubes and tubes of blood that traditionally have to be drawn from an arm, and replaced it with the nanotainer.
She stated in an interview that her immense fear of needles led her to come up with the idea. Her company developed a device called Edison, a small machine that's supposed to run these tests. She wants to place this device in pharmacies, clinics, and homes. Once Silicon Valley heard of all of this, Elizabeth was celebrated as the next Steve Jobs. She claims that she developed the idea for Theranos during her time at Stanford University, after working closely on advanced research with top professors. She also said she speaks fluent Mandarin, one of the hardest languages to learn, and interned at the Genome Institute of Singapore. She comes from a family background of entrepreneurs, with her great-great-great-grandfather, Charles Fleischmann, revolutionizing yeast production and being one of the reasons bread is so largely available and can be mass-produced nowadays. She dresses like a modern-day Steve Jobs, and her voice is oddly deep.
We didn't have the implementation of the quality system.
She also got named one of Time magazine's top 100 most influential people, received the Under 30 Doers Award from Forbes, and is ranked number 73 in its 2015 list of the world's most powerful women. President Barack Obama also named her as the Presidential Ambassador for Global Entrepreneurship. She is on her way to revolutionizing blood testing and changing the world forever. She is convinced that nothing can stop her. But it doesn't take long until the trouble starts.
With misleading and defrauding investors about her Theranos blood testing technology.
It's now October 2015, and an investigative reporter who goes by the name John Carreyrou initiated a secret months-long investigation of Theranos after he received a tip from a medical expert who believed that the Edison blood testing machine seemed suspicious. Carreyrou spoke to an ex-employee whistleblower and got secret company documents, and what he found in these documents was shocking. When Elizabeth found out about the investigation, she called her lawyer David Boies to stop Carreyrou from publishing whatever he found in the documents. Everything was on the line. If Carreyrou publishes the article about Theranos, Elizabeth could lose everything. Despite the legal threats from Elizabeth's lawyer, the Wall Street Journal published Carreyrou's article a few days later, and what Carreyrou wrote in the article shocked everyone. He details how the Edison machine gives false results, and reveals that Elizabeth's company Theranos had been secretly using machines from other companies to make the inaccurate tests of the Edison machine seem accurate. Elizabeth, of course, denied all the claims and promised the company would publish data on the accuracy of the Edison machine's tests. Data that never came. She appeared on CNBC the same evening the article was published.
First they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world.
In July 2016, Elizabeth was banned from running any blood testing labs for 2 years after federal regulators found serious problems with Theranos' lab operations. Shortly after, about 99% of Theranos' shareholders agreed to drop all lawsuits in exchange for preferred stocks.
Give me money.
In March 2018, the SEC charged Elizabeth with fraud by taking more than $700 million from investors while advertising a false product. The charges of fraud included the company's false claim that its technology was being used by the U.S. Department of Defense in combat situations. Elizabeth also lied when she claimed that her company had a $100 million revenue stream in 2014. That year, the company only made $100,000. On March 14, 2018, Elizabeth settled the lawsuit. The terms she settled for were surrendering voting control of Theranos, returning 18.9 million shares to the company, a ban on holding an officer or director position in a public company for 10 years, and a $500,000 fine. It also turned out that she never conducted advanced research with any top professors, and that her knowledge of medical science is very limited. Her Mandarin was also far from fluent and more beginner level. Former colleagues also said that she intentionally lowers her voice to sound more authoritative.
This, what would have been a finger stick on this little nub on his arm, and reinvented the traditional laboratory infrastructure.
In 2015, Theranos had more than 800 employees. It dismissed 340 people in October 2016, 155 in January 2017, and 105 more in 2018. A few months later, the company announced that it had begun formally dissolving its remaining cash and assets. Elizabeth Holmes was charged with 9 counts of wire fraud and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. She pleaded not guilty. The prosecution claimed that she was involved in 2 scams, one to trick investors and another to trick doctors and patients. After being charged, Elizabeth officially stepped down as Theranos' CEO, but the worst was yet to come. She was tried on January 3, 2022, and was found guilty. She was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison.